Norbert Schaber, how are you?
Edward, how are you?
Good, good. Everyone, Norbert Schaber is my old bike mechanic.
Yes.
And I've known Norbert for more than 25 years.
Plus, yeah.
Be close to 25 years
Yeah.
from days gone by.
Yeah.
And just to start everything off with, the usual question we always ask, Norbert, why do you ride?
Well, that's a good question, and it's a long story to answer that one. Why do I ride? When I was a little kid, I rode a bike.
Yeah.
That's what every youngster used to do in my time. People used to get a bike for Christmas, and they rode a bike. And when I was about 3 years old, that's when I got my first bike, way back in Germany. And I've never stopped riding, even when I started working or going to school. When I used to go to school, I mean, the bikes in our schoolyard, you're talking about hundreds of them. They were all, nicely lined up, and kids came on their bike, put their bikes in, and after school they left with their bikes. There was no cars in those days. Nowadays,
You didn't lock up your bikes in those days either.
and no one looked, no such thing. It wasn't done, So, and then of course, when I immigrated to Australia, I still rode my bike. I used to ride to work, and people used to ask me, "Haven't you got a car?" or "Why are you riding a bike?" And I go, "Well, first of all, it's healthy, it's good, it keeps me fit, and it's a bit of exercise I can do every day. I don't have to go to a gymnasium and spend another hour after work. I just ride my bike to work. That was my exercise." So. Yeah.
And you came from Germany?
Yeah, Germany
Yeah,
was
when did
my
you come to
birthplace.
Australia?
I came to Australia in 71,
Yeah.
in March 1971, 14th of March 1971. We arrived at Station Pier on a ship called SS Australis. Don't take that.
Very much.
That was called. It
Very
wasn't my
much a
choice.
man off the boat, huh?
Yeah, so that's what we were. We were boat people. Yeah, in those days.
Now, when I first met you, you were working at a different location. Where were you working?
I was working at Kodak when you first met me. That's going way back. It had something to do with IT. You were an IT person, and I used to meet you there. And that was my first time to. It wasn't internet then. It was called something else.
Yep, it was Netstra.
Yeah.
It
was way back. Yeah.
It was 1996, and it was getting you on the internet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I actually do
And I
remember.
had no idea. I had no idea what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, I caught up with you again by accident.
By accident. Yeah.
You opened up a shop
I
nearby.
opened up a bike shop in Preston here, which is still running. It's called Plenty Cycles, because it was on Plenty Road, so I called it Plenty Cycles. Good name for a bike shop, I suppose. Plenty Cycles.
Has a double meaning to
Yeah,
it.
it has a double meaning to it.
There were plenty of bikes in there, that's for sure.
And it took a while actually for people to get. When I opened the shop, it was in 1999, 2000, I think I opened it. And people did ride a bike, but it wasn't nowhere near as many then. And it sort of gathered momentum, and eventually the shop flourished, and it went okay. Yeah.
Now we're sitting in South Preston here at the moment, and as you can hear, there's a chorus of dogs around us.
Of other
now.
noises, yeah.
But your dog has gone off wandering?
She's gone, yeah. She thought it's a bit too boring, just standing here watching us.
When I first met you, when I first caught up with you again, you predominantly had a lot of flat bars, but you also had a lot of road bikes in your shop. You had a weekly ride.
Yes.
Tell us about your weekly ride.
I used to sort of ask people if they're interested in weekend rides, like Saturday mornings, because during the week there wasn't much happening there. Most people used to go to work, and they couldn't afford the time, or it was too early then. So I started the Saturday weekend rides, and we just rode up the boulevard.
Otherwise known as Q Boulevard.
Yeah, so that's where we used to ride up there, and it was like a round trip of
25k.
25 k's.
Yeah, 26k to your shop.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was
and
a-
I had the nice hill climb in it and then come back home and open up the shop. Before that, before the boulevard, I used to go and take rides out on Plenty Road. We used to go out to Whittlesea and back. That was before we actually took the boulevard. But then Whittlesea became too busy. You know,
So
build up areas and.
It was Whittlesea, and then some would go on to Humevale, come back, and all meet at Whittlesea and drive back home.
Yeah. I hardly ever did the Huonvale, but we went out to Whittlesea and then turned over to Wandong.
Yes, yeah.
And then came back on High Street. And it was
I did that a few times with you as well.
Yeah, 40, 80 kilometres all around, 40 out there and something like that. And then, of course, because it got too busy, that's when we went boulevard.
Yeah. And these days, you don't really do the road bikes anymore?
I don't do road bikes much. I do it in the summertime on a nice day. I don't have my road bike at home anymore. I got it down the beach, so when we go down a weekend, sometimes I ride it. So generally nowadays, I ride for commuting rather than, you know. So still it's a fitness thing because I ride to the station. And what I'm riding nowadays is, as you can see that behind it's a Strida folding bike. It's a very convenient sort of a folding bike. Actually, they call it collapsible because it folds in a couple of seconds. And I jump on the tram or train or bus or whatever.
Now, if you're looking at this video now, right now, you'll be seeing over my head here, right about here, you'll be seeing Norbert actually showing us how it folds and unfolds very, very quickly and easily.
Yeah, I can do that.
No, we won't do it now. We'll record it afterwards. And
we'll do that after.
We'll put it over the top of me while I'm sitting here.
Okay, yes, see what you say.
So that's a good segue onto the next bit.
Yep.
So you've also got a German bike over here.
Yeah.
One from your old country, the old country?
The old country called the Schindelhauer. A lot of people sort of, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
Can't really get away from the German word there, can you? Schindelhauer.
Yeah, Schaber, Schindelhauer, Schuster, Schreiber.
The Schindelhauer has got a belt drive as well as the Strida has.
Yes, they're belt driven.
Very different sort of bike from most of the people that be watching this will be roadies.
Yep.
But don't get me wrong, Norbert got me started on my roadie after my 5-year break from cycling. Got me onto a Leggera
Aggressor, yeah.
Yep, the entry-level road bike again.
Yeah.
And then
it was a carbon bike.
It was carbon,
yes, carbon fibre. So
then we bought a bike from Germany and we from Switzerland. We built the the BMC.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got into the BMC bikes.
I love my BMCs.
Very heavily. And to say BMC actually did then win the Tour de France. You know.
I do like my BMC. I actually like the skeletal effect, and I'll put that right here so you see what I mean. The skeletal effect from the BMCs, very attractive. It's a very nice design, very clean.
Yeah, it's a design of it all.
It's got nothing to do with the way the bike rides, although they are stiffer for a big fella like me, but it's not that.
You've got to have a bit of a look, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll go fully along with that. And talking about looks, it brings me back to the Strida bike. People don't get the look. They look, and most people laugh about the bike. They think it's a silly folding bike until they actually own one and ride it. Then they go, oh, this is quite a cool bike. So.
Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that Norbert probably does know. Norbert actually taught me a lot of things about riding. One of the things he taught me was, you go for the looks of a bike and you change your geometry afterwards if you need to. You go for something you like because you're the one riding it. You've got to enjoy what you're riding, which is why I went for BMC. Even though Norbert didn't sell BMC, we had to buy one and build it.
Yeah.
But Norbert also taught me a few other things over the years, and one of them was I was a devout believer that helmets should be compulsory, and Norbert convinced me that choice is not necessarily a bad thing to have. In fact, it's not a bad thing. But Norbert, you're also heavily involved now in one of the groups in Melbourne.
Yes, they're called the Freestyle Cyclists.
Yep.
Which they don't think you shouldn't wear a helmet, but they say you shouldn't be fined for not wearing a helmet. What it's all about, if you think it's safer to wear a helmet, then you wear one. But if I ride a bike like that, for instance, to me it's just too much to carry along, because once I fold the bike up, I have to wheel the bike along. I don't want a helmet. A cap, yes, maybe. And a lot of people think bike riding is a very safe, what do you call it? A very safe activity or sport. Sport maybe not so, because most sport riders do now wear a helmet. Whether they have to or not doesn't matter. Yeah. But I always think leave it up to the person themselves, and they're making the choice whether they want to wear a helmet or they don't want to wear a helmet.
My simple line of rule here is, if you clipped in, wear a helmet. For God's sakes, wear a helmet.
If you clip in, yeah, fine. If you rise, because your speed is much higher.
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, if you come up off the bike, maybe you should wear a helmet in that case. Yeah.
You retired. You actually retired. You actually
sort of
put your feet up
semi-retired.
You disappeared from the shop, which I'm still devastated about.
I'll spend probably 1 day a week work. I don't call it work. being active, you know. Yeah. We import the Stridas now. I've got 2 more partners in the business. We bring the bikes in from Taiwan, and we sell them over the internet, because it's a one size frame. The bike itself doesn't have different sizes of frame. It's just one size, and you adjust your seat. So it lends itself very, very well to sell over the internet, so in a box.
You can't get away from bikes, can you?
I can't get away from bikes, that's true. I can never stop riding. To me, riding a bike is like, it's almost like just walking. You know,
it's a part of your anatomy.
If I don't,
it's in your DNA.
Yeah, if I don't ride a bike for a week, I really get annoyed, because it's like I have withdrawal symptoms almost, so I need to get on a bike, it doesn't matter. Just not a while ago, we took a trip on the Ghan from Darwin down to Adelaide, and I did have my bike with me, so I could ride it in Darwin around a bit. But then once we got onto the train, I had to pack my bike away. I wasn't allowed to actually have the bike in the cabin, because they're too small. So even your clothing had to be sized down in your cabin. All the rest had to be put somewhere else. But when we got to Alice Springs, there was an option. You could go and see some of the nature in Alice Springs, or go on a bike ride. So the first thing I did, thanks God I can go for a bike ride.
Who gives a shit about a kangaroo? I can see that in Melbourne.
Exactly. Or a camel or whatever. I just went on a bike
Camels
ride.
aren't native animals anyway.
So yeah. So we went on a bike ride.
And let's face it, anything else you're going to come across in the desert, it's going to want to kill you. So
yeah, exactly.
We are talking about Australia here.
Right on.
So Norbert, thank you for your time today. It's
thank you, Edward.
It's always interesting talking to you, and I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I thought this was an ideal opportunity to get you on to Why We Ride.
Yeah.
Why We Ride is a continual web series which we'll just keep on adding to every week, hopefully week by week, as we get more people coming back now from overseas. People like Norbert have got fascinating histories. I mean, Norbert has literally been riding since he was 3 years old. Never stopped riding. Even I can't go that low. I started at 4 years old. So, and I had a 5-year gap. So I can't even say that I didn't have. I can't even say that I was able to always ride.
I would love to know how many kilometers of riding I've done in my lifetime.
Now, you know, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen.
No.
So as far as I'm concerned, Norbert, you've never ridden.
No.
Because you don't use Strava.
It's funny because, well, the kilometers we rode as kids even, you know, we used to ride 10, 15 kilometers as children. Because there was no, like I said, no cars on the road. It was good. So yeah. So now I'm an old man, but I still ride and I still enjoy it and never look back.
You're not that. You never seem that old.
Well,
Norbert,
you try and keep yourself, you know, young and fit and healthy.
Well, you have a lot of respect from me, Norbert. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for your time
Thank you.
today.
Thanks for interviewing.
And you've already seen what the bikes look like during the
Yep.
video, but we're now going to do the B-roll right now and actually record the bikes. So
Okay.
thank you everyone for coming along. Stay informed, and we'll catch you next time on the flip side. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.